20, 25 minutes, not more. Okay. Welcome, Paul. We are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter. And thank you for joining me here.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And for all the listeners, I have the pleasure of having Paul, who is helping a lot of SaaS companies attract and retain clients. He has been doing that since 2010. And before we even go further and understanding about our topic, how a simple word change can make this much of a difference, uh, exponential difference in the outreach, I want to ask you about your journey from 2010 to now and helping so many this thing. But I also read on LinkedIn and in one of your blog the pivot you did in 2018. Just give a little bit of emphasis on that while you are explaining.
Sure, sure. So in 2010, I opened the agency and I had one client, and it was a medical education company, and they were at the time spending 150,000 a year on AdWords and generating 300,000 a year in sales. And incredible team. I was able to work with them. We grew it to the point where we were spending over $1 million a year, and we were generating 15 million a year in sales. So massive growth, massive profitability. The management sold the company to a big international buyer. Um, that company blew out the management team, as they tend to do, and along with them blew out all the vendors, myself included. So that was in 2018. And I was left scrambling. I had to replace the billing as fast as possible because I have family, I have expenses like everyone. So I turned to LinkedIn, and LinkedIn allowed me to begin connecting with prospective clients in much better than I'd ever done before. And as I met with more and more clients, I started realizing that they needed to connect with prospective clients as well. So that led me to offering LinkedIn connection as a service. And the management team from the old company ended up hiring me to help them source new companies to buy. They bought a SaaS company, and then so ever since then, I've been involved with SaaS companies.
Okay. And so that means, if I understood correctly, before that, you did not even use LinkedIn at all. And or maybe a little bit, but
A little, yeah.
But you started using it and learned quickly from,
Yes.
and I think, quickly can be seen now in hindsight, but at that time may not be quick. So maybe we will talk a little bit more on that. But I want to talk about, mentioned that, one of the things which you mentioned in your profile is that you have been relying all of your 8, 10 years on referral customers and all that.
Yes.
And suddenly you had to find customers. And you also realized that all of your clients, like you actually realize the pain your SaaS companies
Yes.
are also going through. Am I correct on that?
Well, let me take it a step further. I had never done sales before, ever.
Okay.
All of my business was referral based. The one big client I had, that was a previous boss who hired me. So I never did sales until 2018.
Okay. And so in other words, like I read your blog, it said that uh, it's saying like eating your own dog food. You were doing what you preach, and you actually
Yes.
learned from doing and then preached later from what you're saying. And
Yes.
I why and one of the things which I would like to have everyone to know that we met a few days back, and you immediately helped me with my headline, and not helped me, you motivated me to look at my headline a little more. And I started looking at it. I have changed it 2 3 times already in the last 2 weeks, and it's improving. It's clearer because one
Yeah.
question from you started me thinking, what am I doing with my headline on LinkedIn? And the same way I need to look at, I thought maybe others also need the similar kind of thing. I have been on LinkedIn doing many webinars, many LinkedIn lives, webinars,
Mhm.
and all that, and posting articles. So unless I have my headline, unless I have um, my profile correct, that means I may be wasting a lot of money and effort. Correct?
Yes, that's
Okay.
absolutely right.
And I want to go deep into our topic today. Is
Mhm.
we are talking about the case study. We're talking about how did you change, or how did you realize that a simple word change, a change of a word, help you increase your outreach so much exponentially?
Well, the the key, and this is the embarrassing part, is that from the very first time I started seriously doing LinkedIn, I had a proper headline. But then a year or so ago, we ventured off into other things, and I changed my headline, and I made it more generic because we were adding HubSpot as a service that the agency is offering, and we were trying to expand out into other areas. So I made the mistake, not really thinking it through, but I made the mistake that everyone makes of being too generic. And I started doing my outreach, and it wasn't working. And I know what it should be, how it should be working, because I do this for clients all the time. And I honestly had put my account on hold just because I was focused on other things. And when I started up again, I was getting about 10% connection rate. And we measure things. It's important to measure your progress. And I knew that wasn't right. And I looked at it, and it was, a light bulb moment. I realized I wasn't following my own advice. I wasn't doing what I tell clients to do every day. So that's how the change came about. That's
Okay.
sheer necessity.
And so, saying that it's a simple one change, but that one
Yeah.
word, in my opinion, doesn't come in isolation. It doesn't come
No.
in a vacuum. So you have some kind of a context. You understand,
Yes.
or you investigate the customer. You investigate what they are looking for. You investigate their pain points and all that. So may I know a little more about that? Because how did the realization come in, and what did you decide, and why?
Well, the realization came when what I was doing wasn't working, and I in the blog post I actually share what I was saying before, which isn't a terrible thing. I said that I connect clients with their best prospects and the tools to engage with them at scale, and that is technically true. I do that. I connect clients with their best prospects, but the problem with it is that it's too generic. And again, this is exactly what I tell clients. Everyone goes on LinkedIn for one reason and one reason only, and that's to solve a problem. And it might be that they need a job. That's the problem for a lot of people. Or it might mean that they have a problem in their business that they're trying to solve, and they're looking for someone to fix it for them. They may not have articulated the problem. They may not um, be in an active search mode, but they deep down they have an issue, and they're looking for articles, they're looking for content, they're looking for people who can solve it for them. So the the first step in solving a problem is deciding A, what problem you're solving, and B, who you're solving it for. And
Mhm.
and it's important to be as narrow as possible in who you're solving it for, because people like specialists. There's a
Yeah.
reason that surgeons make more money than general practitioners. They are specialists. The best paid surgeon I know is a liver transplant specialist. He's he There are a million things he cannot do, but that one thing that he does do is so crucial to that very narrow audience that needs just that service. So that's the second half.
Yeah, so it's like changing a word. It
Mhm.
seems like a simple word, and it's a random word, but it is not, because it requires a lot of
Yes.
understanding before you come up with that word, or
Right.
before you come up with that one headline, right? So it looks simple and I remember you are a copywriter also, right?
Yes.
And I
Yes.
have high respect for them. I read a book. I always quote this thing to copywriters and say, Ray Edwards' copywriting book, and he said very beautifully that copywriters are one of those people who can create money out of thin air. So I so I have high respect for people who come up with the money from the thin air. But I want to go deep into this
Mhm.
understanding that when you're talking about pain point of that customer, understanding
Right.
and then coming up with the word or headline to replace it. In my opinion, and I have faced my own failures on a couple of my startups, and I see a lot of
Mhm.
startups, a lot of founders go into this viral this problem at all, that they try to solve the problem they think the customer has,
Right.
not what the customer thinks that they have, right? And do you think the same? And how do you think we should help these clients or these people write their headlines rightly, correctly?
Well, I think that the first thing is there are only a couple of problems if you really boil it down. People want to make more money. People don't want to waste money. They want to save money. Um, that's really what it comes down to. So it's there are many ways to make money, right? That within making money, there are many things that a specific client needs. There are only a few things that you can do to help a client make money. I can't do what you do. I am not a venture capitalist or an investment banker or an M&A person like you are. I can't offer to help people make money in that regard. So, being honest with yourself about what you do that helps someone make money or save money is absolutely crucial. And again, be as narrow, as well defined as you can be in the solution that you offer, and be as narrow as possible in the audience you're offering it to. So it's a combination of those two things. Because if I say that I'm helping SaaS companies, that's a narrow audience, attract and retain clients. I'm not saying that I'm building a social network following. I'm not booking meetings for them. I'm not helping them close deals. I'm not running major ad campaigns. It's what do they actually need? I want to attract clients, period. I want to keep the ones I have, period. So very, very simple and very, very immediately understandable. Someone who
I
reads that,
understand.
they know it's either for them or not for them, and they either need it or they don't need it.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it's okay not to help everyone.
Yeah, no, I understand. Everybody, and niching down is very, people say that once you niche down and own the
Mhm.
niche, then you can maybe go somewhere else if needed. But you need to own the niche, and I need to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we look at one other question I have is when we look
Mhm.
at what the client needs, what your customer needs, or
Sure.
what you're selling, customers, you try to come up with a idea, you launch a product, you product
Mhm.
or a SaaS company or something, and then the customer market speaks, market
Right.
responds. Sometimes it's harsh, sometimes it's very good. In both the
Yes.
cases, there is some insights. What kind of insights you look at before you come up with changes in your approach to attain attracting and retaining clients?
Well, first of all, nobody likes someone who brags. So never say you're the best at something because nobody believes that. I don't pretend to be the best at what I do. I assume that there are a lot of people who are better. Um, if you were to just meet someone one on one and they told you that they are the best at doing something, you would immediately discount them. And this is the same thing. LinkedIn is relational, it's not transactional. So the second thing is not to make promises of delivering a specific result because you don't know if someone needs that result. You
Mhm.
don't know if someone, for example, I was talking to a gentleman the other day, and he said that he gets all these people saying that they're going to provide him with 40 meetings a week, and his thing is he wants one meeting a week.
Yeah.
He can't handle 40 meetings a week. He's busy.
Yeah.
And his client base are people who spend tens of thousands of dollars. There aren't 40 people a week who want to meet with him. It's just not reasonable. So he immediately discounts anyone who says something so so out there. So, and again, kind of bragging, but it's overpromising. Again, I think in terms of what you would say to someone that you meet in a networking event, or if you're at the bank or something, and they ask you, "What do you do?"
Yeah.
And that's really the question we're trying to get to. The other thing is you don't need to tell people what you do specifically. You don't need to go into what systems you're using, what applications you're using, what kind of budgets you're looking at. You want people to ask you a question in response to what you do. And the question is, how? So when I say I help SaaS companies attract and retain clients, the number one question I get back is how. And if I'm getting the how question back, I know that it's working.
Yeah. Because it starts with that conversation, and somebody rightly, and I think what you're saying is, and somebody pointed out that to me for email campaigns, that don't give the entire thing in the subject itself, because the subject has to be teasing or something, be inviting enough to ask the person to open it, to discover. Otherwise, there is some discontent in their mind that what did I lose not by clicking on the link, right? Okay. And the similar thing is, you do this and the people say how, and then they start reading through your story, and then they see that you are helping a lot of clients like SaaS companies and all that. And it says, we're taking you as an example. The same way it can happen with me, that if I'm trying to help small and medium businesses exit on their own terms, and from retire from their businesses by either acquiring or investing in them, I should be very clear there that this is what I'm looking for. How I think I need to look at that mine again and say, how should I leave it or not? I'll qualify. Thank you. I'm learning a little bit again today. It's a journey.
Let's be clear. This is not easy. It's hard
it's not easy.
to narrow it down. It's hard to say something simple. So it's not surprising that you're going back and forth on what you've written.
Yeah, I've already done it 2-3 times. And while I'm talking to you, I'm going through it in my mind again. When I say SMB acquirer and investor, and then I say I help business owners exit on their terms and this thing, should I say how, or should I say just leave it like this, or I'll look at it once again?
The fact that you're helping business owners retire, that's a narrower niche. That's actually really compelling. And I don't know if that's sufficient for you, but it may very well be.
Yeah.
To say I help business owners sell their companies and retire. That's
I think
others may want I help business companies sell their businesses so their employees and take care of their employees.
The challenge, Paul, in that case was when I said that I don't want to be seen as somebody who is a coach who is helping people retire. That's why I qualified by saying SMB, acquirer, and investor, so that it is clarified very clearly on the first two words. And then I say I help people, business owners, retire or something like that. I think that's the reason why I added these two words, was to ensure that I don't, because I'm not against coaches. I have been one, and I'm not coach, a consultant, but there are almost millions of people every time reaching out. So I wanted to qualify that I am not here to coach you how and when to retire. I'm here to acquire the company. So it's like we're discussing this as a case study. Even one word here and there makes the entire difference,
Yes,
even in
it
my
does.
mind, into how I perceive myself as that, right? If
Yeah.
I want to perceive myself as an investor or an acquirer of businesses, I have to state like that.
Yes.
And it goes both ways. And even I think even this one sentence on LinkedIn or on your website
Hmm.
can actually rally the entire company and employees behind you, can also
Yes.
clarify the purpose and the mission in their mind. What do we actually do? Otherwise they are also confused and they don't also do anything. Am I correct? So
Yeah.
it's much bigger than just a LinkedIn headline.
It is. It is. And again, it depends on the size of your enterprise and things like that. In a past life, I was the marketing director for a pharmaceutical company, and came up with the positioning that in this case it was birth control for women who hate the pill. And nobody had ever done that before, and it was completely true. We had to be true because it was a regulated industry. Um, but stating the problem very simply that we solved, stating the audience very simply that we addressed, worked unbelievably well. And it did, like you said, it rallied the company around a single message. It rallied all the marketing around a single message and made everything far more effective. The sales people would go out with that message. The women calling to their doctors would ask them that question. So we knew that we had achieved resonance in the market because we were able to accomplish this.
Yeah, and I agree. And this helps in even business to business
Mm-hmm.
sales, because when you clarify that message to the person you're meeting, because that person himself or herself, go and sell it to 10 other people in the purchase committee, and where
Yeah,
your salesperson is not there, then if you are not clear, and then your audience, the immediate manager or somebody you are meeting is not clear, there's no chance of a sale. And
right.
especially in those cases when there is a lot more. So I agree with you. This wording is very important, and I, like we discussed, that somebody has to come up with that one or two words
Mm-hmm.
change requires a lot of digging deep into what do you stand for, what is the company, what the problem you're solving, and how do you want to, where do you want to position your product in the market.
Right.
So anything else you want to say? I know this
Well,
was a short topic today.
well, it also takes a bit of courage because it's easy to hide behind being generic, but to be specific, to take a stand, it takes courage, and people are understandably concerned about that. And I believe me, I deal with clients on this all the time. There's just something unnatural about being so narrowly focused. But you know, like you've said, you have a million competitors who are doing essentially the same thing. But when you say what it is you do and who you do it for, you stand out because your prospective audience is looking to eliminate choices. They see a million choices, they get rid of everyone who's generic, and they're left with a couple of people who are specific. And so you're no longer one of 100, you may be one out of five.
Yeah,
And by narrowing yourself down to that one out of five, your odds have gone from 1% to 20%. That's a huge increase.
I agree. Thank you very much. I think it was a great conversation. We wanted to talk about the importance of these words,
Hmm.
and wish you the best. And I hope
Sure.
to have you again and talk about some other topic.
If there are any questions, happy to answer them,
Yeah,
or please feel free to look me up on LinkedIn.
yeah. And would you like to? And you are a HubSpot partner agency also, and you're not
Yes.
only helping clients with Attract. So you're a HubSpot partner agency. So anything that requires HubSpot, reach out to Paul. And anything you require, for if you're thinking of retiring or something, reach out to me.
Very good.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Paul.
Sandeep, I appreciate it. Take care.
Bye.